I'm gonna sing a couple of songs to prepare our environment, to prepare our soul for the Spiritist talk tonight. So welcome to our meeting. First of all, I'm gonna sing a song called Vibrate. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity.
Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes it's not so close. Sometimes we build our dreams, but then we see them decompose. When you feel down the dumps, feeling sad and blue, give life a chance, my friend. The sun will shine again on you. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Have little faith in you. Maybe tomorrow you can dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, it doesn't mean the end. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Sometimes okay to feel blue. Have little faith in you. though some sorrow remains, your dreams can get you through. Have little faith in you.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all His light. I open my heart for all He has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
Quand la nuit tombait à Capharnaüm, la maison de pierre si simple, un foyer commun, s'emplissait de paix, dans son cœur chacun recueillait les paroles de lumière du Maître divin. Il me plaît de rêver, de me trouver aussi aux côtés de Jean, Simon, Jacques, André et Lévi, de planter dans nos âmes la sémence de la foi, la sémence que Jésus nous donne et qu'un jour poussera. Et je m'imagine enfant à cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre. J'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise, la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi. Et pendant ta terre en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et je m'imagine enfant à cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre. J'entendrai sa voix à dire tu sens cette brise, la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi. Et pendant ta terre en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra.
Now I'm gonna sing a song that really calmed me down. If I my eyes to pray. I heard the sound of the sea far away. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. Body harmonizes, how well done lay the hay. Music lifts, his spirit sends sweet ballet. Nature's love, a constant giveaway. In joy and peace, my heart finds its way. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. If I close my eyes to pray, I heard the sound of the sea far away. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. Body harmonizes, how well done in the hay. Music lifts, his spirit sends sweet ballet. Nature's love, a constant giveaway. In joy and peace, my heart finds its way. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. If I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Publio. I'm here very happy to host our meeting tonight. So, before we start, we'd like to share some announcements. So, for instance, we'd like to welcome all of you in our meeting, and we'd like to share like our meeting has a model like very interesting. So if you follow those steps, make it easier to enjoy and keep most of the information that we're gonna have today. So first of all, turn off your phone notification if it's possible, put in silence. Find a quiet place that you can hear the message. Our meeting has a formal 30 minutes presentation, and after we have questions and answers. After that, we have a treatment with a magnetized water. So for that, we advise you to have drinkable water beside you in a bottle, in a cup, so the spirits can magnetize with the very good vibes, prepare for you, and everybody can be used this water. Like also to let you know that our meeting today is transmitted by Spiritism Canada Facebook and YouTube, and also Concafras Continental Americas through the Facebook. And on Wednesdays, it's retransmitted by Kardec Radio, Facebook, and YouTube. So there's many different times that you can take a chance to listen today, or another time you can stream. So if you would like to learn a little bit more about the Spiritism, look what we have here in the fall. We're gonna start a new group of Get to Know Spiritism. So it's a free course every Saturday, 5:15 is time. And it's a very short period. It's 14 classes, and you can enjoy, learn about many different subjects like the one that we're gonna hear tonight. So that's the point. This group can offer a gospel at home. If you're planning to have to start, how to start, we have a group of people that can help you to establish and continue the gospel at home, where everybody in the house, in the neighbor, is benefit from you, a friend, family, spirits, incarnated and discarnated ones. And that's the reason I'm so happy, because tonight the Spiritist Talks is the gospel at home. And we're going to talk about this, in our lovely sister Anna Oliveira from USA, Alabama, will be here with us. So everybody is welcome to make questions, comments, and in the end of the presentation, you can put in the chat and give your questions that you have, what you didn't understand. So it's gonna be a pleasure to answer your questions. And now we're gonna have our opening prayer, but we're gonna ask our beloved friend, beloved sister Anna, to conduct the initial prayer for us, Ania.
Hello.
I'm
How are
coming
you?
back in the end, okay?
All right. All right. So happy to be here and to see you all. All right, my friends. So, like Publius said, we're going to talk about the gospel at home today. But as we always do, we start with a prayer. So, I invite you to close your eyes, to take a deep breath, to have full conscious of where you are right now in the present moment, and at the same time go inside yourself and find that very quiet place, and in that space let's all join in a prayer. So let's elevate our thoughts to God and thank him for this opportunity to be here, for the opportunity of being together, for the day that we had, for the good, the bad, and everything around that happened. Because all of those taught us something. And if we are here, it's because we were able to overcome those difficulties or challenges. So we thank God for that, and we feel blessed for that. Let's elevate our thought even more, higher and higher, reaching the most noble places with the presence of our guardian angels. And let's ask our brother Jesus that he may stay always with us, that during this time our minds be open, our hearts be receptive, that our intelligence be expanded, so that we can receive all the messages that come from our Master Jesus.
and so be it. All right, friends. So remember every day, not every day, but every Tuesday when we, have the announcements before we start, we always tell you that if you want to start the gospel at home, we can help you. Just put in the chat and we can help you. So today we actually going to talk about what is the gospel at home, right? So today it's like a special topic, that's why it's a special talk. It's not the person talking, but it's the topic that we choose. Is usually not something from the chapters of the gospel according to Spiritism or the Spiritist book that we have been studying, but it's a different topic. So why not talk about the gospel at home, right? A practice that we all should be doing as spiritists, something that we can do even if we're not spiritists, right? And we are going to talk about it today, what it is exactly, so we can give you a little bit more information. We're going to talk about what are the benefits of doing, why should we do the gospel at home. We're also going to talk about the benefits of the gospel at home, some specific questions that sometimes people have, and I want to introduce you to some of the books that you can use too. And there are some references that are in English, so we have some options in English too. So let's get started. So in the context in which we live today, considering the difficulties that we face, if Jesus invited you, invited me to sit with him at the table and talk at Peter's house, the Apostle Peter, would you go? Would I go? Would we go? Right? So if when we think about where did the gospel at home started, we can think all the way back when Jesus had all those meetings at Peter's house. Sometimes he would teach them about the kingdom of God, about the message of his gospel. Also by the sea, right? they he would be always meeting with them and finding time to teach them so that they can pray together too, so that they can thank God and for them to strengthen those relationships, right? So the first gospel at home was really at Peter's house. So if Jesus invited us, if that was possible, that we meet with him, fellowship with him and the apostles at Peter's house, would we go, right? And all my pictures, they are very modern, but they are beautiful pictures, right, on the internet that you can see, and in some series about these nice conversations of Jesus, this visits of Jesus to Peter, right, at the end of the day after they had worked, and all of those things, the time that he cured Peter's mother-in-law, and or it was his mother, uh, all of this, we have those pictures, but I intentionally put modern day pictures because I want us to think that yes, that was then, but it still can happen. We still can mimic, we still can experience that experience in modern days, right? And that is when we do the gospel at home. So in this book, so this is a lot of these references that I'm going to be talking about is about this book, Jesus in the Home. It is in English by the Spirit Neo Lucio and psychographic by Francisco Cândido Xavier. And actually, the very first chapter, it's talking about the Christian worship in the home. So it's the gospel at home, right? And actually describing the first gospel at home, and also bring us some more information on why, we need to do that. And on this, on page 17, um, it says, Jesus glanced around the modest room, paused for a moment, and continued, Peter, let us light a new light around those who come to us for fraternal assistance. Right? So, those that are closer to us, that have this intimate relationship with us, our friends, people, that they are close enough to come right into our house to share the living space with us. Then let's, like Jesus is saying, let us light up a new light around those. And how can we do that? Right? And Jesus is reminding us, and this is still from the same book, Jesus in the Home. He says, the table of your house is the home of your bread. There you receive food from the Lord for each day. Why not plant the seeds of happiness and peace in conversation and thought around it, right? So, what are some things that we can do in our house? What kind of practices or behaviors or habits that we can create in our houses that can really help us support each other, right? Plant those seeds of happiness, of peace, of hope, right? Around conversation, around thought, so that we can, reflect in a better way, and we can construct, at least in our house, this atmosphere of peace. If we can, you imagine if in every house there was peace, there will be peace by extension in the whole world, right? Because each one of those houses are little units. And we talked also in other opportunities about the importance of family, the importance of praying and praying together, the importance of giving our children and giving our youth a spiritual support as they're growing and as the challenges that they face in life become, bigger and bigger as they become adults, right? So, really using the table, right? And there are some things that sometimes now we do not really sit around the table and share those times. So the gospel at home would be also an opportunity to bring part of that back, where we stop everything and then we have a common time to really nurture our souls, to learn something that we can apply in our day-to-day life, that can strengthen our faith, that can increase our hope, that can really bring us, after a whole week of so many um, stimuli, right? Some good, some bad, can bring us, this peace, and can help us be grounded, right? So, what is the gospel at home? So, the gospel at home, it's a family gathering on a fixed day and a fixed time, at least once a week, but you can do that every day if you want. There's no contraindications, right? And that is the time that in your family setting, you study the gospel of Jesus in the light of the Spiritist doctrine, and you pray together. So, as you're going to see later when we start talking about the steps, we recommend using the gospel according to Spiritism. You know, it because we are spiritists, and Kardec already did the whole work of putting very important parts of the gospel there, but he also has explanation. So that really helps us with our reflection too. There are messages from spirits at the end of each chapter, so that also help us, reflect. But if you want, you can just also read the gospel, right? The Bible. You can just go for the gospel and choose one of the four, and also you can do that. You can use other books too, but it really makes it um, easier to do with the gospel, according to spiritism, because it is the gospel and then has some explanations, and because really those sections is really to strengthen our soul. And it was such a good work from Kardec to put all of that together for us. So why practice the gospel at home? So there are many benefits. I just put some here that we can talk about it. If you are listening to us, and you can comment, you can add, some more benefits that and you notice about doing the practice of the gospel at home. But one of the things that it does help and it benefits is assist suffering spirits who may be in the home. So we also talked already about obsession, right? And we know that we're never alone, that we are surrounded by spirits. And you know if we are sad or worried, we might attract these brothers and sisters. But also, if we do the gospel at home and we are studying the gospel, we are looking for that hope and for that strength in our faith, they can share into that too. So they can be assisted too, right? It promotes a deep cleaning in the home. And I'm not talking about the material cleaning, right? I'm talking about the spiritual cleaning. We also talked about how thought is energy. And can you imagine how many thoughts we think every day? And if you multiply by everybody in the family, then you have even more, right? So for the whole week prior to the gospel home, can we imagine, right, how much energy has been, you know, concentrated, that we can, by now having good thoughts during that time, saying good words, really having a moment where what we're looking for, it's really the strength of our faith, it's increasing our hope, and it's really looking for the gospel, for this consolation that the gospel can give us, right? These lessons on love and forgiveness and fraternity, that really promotes this deep spiritual cleaning in our home too, right? It broadens knowledge and strengthens the faith of those who take part. So, as we reading the gospel, then we are learning more about, those parables, about things in the gospel, the words of Jesus that we can use in a specific situations. So it will broaden our knowledge in the way. So now we would have more, you know, more information, that when we are facing some kind of um some kind of difficulty, that that information, because we read in a message, we read in the gospel, that is going to be sinking in our mind and in our hearts and in our spirits, right? And is going to strengthen our faith too, a strength, physical and spiritual health. So we are not just a physical body, right? We have our emotional health, our physical health, our spiritual health. So if when we're doing the gospel at home, we're really working and taking care of our spiritual health, and that it will reflect on our physical body too. That's why if we take care of our spiritual health, that will be strengthening our physical health too. So it helps family harmony, providing an environment of peace and mutual understanding, right? So the way that the gospel home is set up, it's a time for us to make memories too, for us to stop and have a moment with those people that we live with, that maybe during the whole week we see, we kind of talk, but we really don't have a time where we stop. There's no TV, there's no phone, and we are all focused in one task, right? Present in that moment, listening to each other, right? Reflecting together about things that are really important to life, but that we all face, questions of hope and fraternity, forgiveness, what is love, who should I love, why should I forgive, all of these wonderful messages that the gospel brings to us. So it starts uniting the family more, parents and children, siblings, spouses, because as we are individually getting better, then if I'm getting better personally, then of course that will reflect on my, role as a mother, my role as a wife, right? So the more that I can work on myself, then, that will also, the way that when I'm not well, people around me can actually be affected by that, even if they didn't do anything to contribute to that. The same way, if I'm well, that can be contagious too, right? That can help also. So now you're having more moments where, the focus is really growth and hope and fraternal love, instead of competition and maybe worries about, paying the bills, or, work doing chores at the house, right? It also helps, your neighbors too, right? Your house becomes this beacon of light, and this light spreads for your, um, neighbors too, right? So there are so many benefits to the gospel at home. So I really invite everybody to practice and to test those things for yourself, right? So remember, one of the things that we're going to be doing, it's praying together. So Allan Kardec in the Gospel According to Spiritism reminds us of the power of collective prayer. So he says that collective prayer has a more powerful effect when all those who pray are united in the same thought and aim for the same goal, because it is as if many were pleading together in a single sound, right? And of course, I pray, right, for with my intentions, and then maybe for the people that I know that need prayers in a general way. But how much powerful it is, my prayer, if I do that with my family, for example, for a loved one, a family member, another family member that is sick, right? Or is to ask for strength for one of us, is to ask for counsel on how we're gonna, you know um, solve that family problem. So because we're closer, we understand each other. Like, if you tell me to pray for you for something you're going through, I'm gonna do my best to pray and to really help you. But you know exactly what you're feeling, and maybe the people who live in the same household as you, they have so many examples, they really can, they have the whole idea because they are there with you. So that is another, important thing for the gospel at home. And in the gospel at home, the same way, that we have here as part of our spiritual treatment. In the gospel at home, also, you should use the water. So you should set aside some water that can be magnetized by the high spirits. And then that can be used as also medicine, right, for your body, for your soul. So, and why? And we talked about, some of these properties of water and magnetism. Some of these will come with our um, a study of the Spiritist book, but it's already proven by science and all. But water is one of the simplest and most receptive bodies on earth. So water is really easy to be magnetized, right? So, like, for example, if you have electricity, lose somewhere, like a cut wire or something, if there's water, we don't want to be close to that, because that electricity will be transmitted to water. So water is a very good conductor, right, of energy, because it's really easy to magnetize it. So it's like the pure base on which the medicine of heaven can be imprinted. So um there are a lot of studies, right, how the different crystals that can be formed when people speak to water, nice words or not kind words. So we are also magnetizing that water. The high spirits also come, our guardian angels also do their part there. But as we're talking about the gospel, we are reading something nice, we are also helping to magnetize that water too. So what are the steps, right? So now we talked about some of the benefits, we talked about, now we're going to go more about exactly how we can do. So one thing that we need to do first is to find a day and a time. So we need to set a fixed day of the week when most of the family can get together. So, which day is better? Which time is better? It depends on your family, right? Depends on your circumstances. So, for some, it might be Sunday morning. For others, it might be Monday evening. If there's a night that, your kids have soccer and everybody's running to not be late to practice, and everybody comes really late and are busy, maybe that's not the best day for you to do that. If people have specific things that they do in the evening, so the best time, it needs to be the best time to choose is one that most people in your house can attend, right? A time that you would be free and you can be together. And you just need 30 minutes. We're going to go over that. So it's not a long commitment, or you just have to think, what is the 30 minutes once a week that we can dedicate to this? Then after that, you're going to prepare the environment, right? So you can set a table. Sometimes it's more comfortable for people to sit around the table. Um, you don't have to do at the table. If you want to sit in your living room on a carpet, that's fine. If you want to sit at the sofa, that's fine. If you want to go outside to your patio, no problem whatsoever, right? But sometimes, and we want everybody to participate, little ones, older ones, everybody in the family. So sometimes it's easier and it's a little bit more comfortable if people sit around the table. Um, Remember, you have to set the bottle of water and glasses, so that you can have the water afterwards. And you have to have the book that you're going to use. So, for example, you have to have the gospel according to Spiritism. But these recommendations in this preparation, it's not supposed to be like a ritual. You don't have to have a specific tablecloth that you put. If your house is already something that you like, that makes you happy to have some flowers, you can do that. But this needs to reflect already how your house is, the way that you live, inside your house. You're very simple, or you're very you really like the details, you're more detail oriented. So, but like I said, Um, just find a place where it's comfortable for everybody, right? Then we start with a harmonization. So singing a song, you know, to praise God with joy and goodwill, linking your heart and mind to Him, to God. So here's even a deeper preparation, right? So the moment that you take the water, the book, and you sit around the table, if that's the place you're going to do, you're already telling yourself that is that time. So you starting to prepare. The harmonization with the songs is going to even help you even more to start forgetting about all the things, maybe the traffic was really bad, you know, or you had such a busy day at work, or, maybe you're not feeling so well. Whatever it is, now is the time to let all of that, outside and really focus on what you're trying to do there. So if somebody sings, right? If you have somebody like Publio that knows how to play the guitar, or that can sing, don't ask me to sing. So you can do that. The cool thing about the gospel at home is that it is a family affair, it's a family event. So giving tasks to people, maybe somebody is the logistics person of the house. So they're just going to make sure that 5 minutes before you start, you have the book there, you have the water. Somebody else is more artistic. So they would like to either sing or to choose, from all, the worship songs and the gospel songs and the spiritist songs that are out there. One that we can, that your family can use for the gospel at home, and they will have in their phones and they will play that, right? Somebody else can be uh, responsible and even rotate responsibilities to do step 4, that is separating a message, right? Read a message encouraging the practice of good and moral um, transformation. So I want to show you this book, Our Daily Bread, but this whole collection, the Living Spring collection from the Spirit Manual by Francisco Cândido Xavier, those are a lot of very short, right? A 2-page message that we can use to, again, right? We're trying to really disconnect to this material world and really focus on the task at hand. So all of these pre-steps just help us to really get there. So these books, like Our Daily Bread, have a message, and Emmanuel starts with a one verse from the Bible, and then he has his explanation for that. Then we have an opening prayer, so somebody can be assigned. So this week I do the opening prayer, next week I do the closing prayer. So there are tasks for everybody, and it would be much better if everybody participates, that if they want to participate, that they have that chance. So choose one of the people present, and that can lead everyone in prayer, and those prayers usually out loud. So the person leading the prayer would say that prayer loudly and clear, um, and everybody would be giving more thought, more power with their thoughts, right, with their energy to what they are saying. Then we get to the really core of the gospel at home, that is reading out the lesson. So we can choose one item, we can open the page at random of the gospel according to Spiritism. So you can start from the introduction of the gospel according to Spiritism and read a little bit of that, and every time, every week, right, you're going to read more until you finish the book and you start over again. Or you can just every time open it randomly and then read a little part of that message. And like Emmanuel teaches us in this book, various spirits in this message called Family. He says, open the pages of the gospel and read aloud some of its passages of truth and consolation, for which you will receive the inspiration of the spiritual friends who assist you. It's not necessary to read for more than 10 minutes. So that is the key. So remember, I've already kind of spoiled and told you that it shouldn't take more than 30 minutes, but the core there, the reading should take no more than 10 minutes. Um, then what happens? Now is also that part where um, we can really discuss. So now it's the part where everybody in the family, or how many people want to comment, they can, after the person is reading, then we can be highlighting the Christian teachings that can be engraved on the soul. So if we're reading one passage, then we can start making comments on how does that make you feel, right? What is Jesus trying to say here? We can start making those connections. And then we have a note about children's reading. So if you have the small children specifically, it might be hard for them to understand and to follow the gospel according to Spiritism. So you can choose another text that is easier for them. So I wanted to show you this book called Our Father. So this is by the Spirit May. So if you have children, that might be a better, option, because it talks about the parts of Our Father prayer, but then it has small stories, like parables, or things like that, that talks about that specific part of the prayer. So if you have some book like this, that makes it easier for the kids, right? So they can understand and they can participate a little bit too. So then we come to also the conversation. So the person who is reading can be reading and making some comments and somebody else, but then we really have to assure that we have this talk, right? This open conversation, this open talk, applying the lesson to facts or situations in the family's daily life. So if we're talking about forgiveness, maybe there was something at school that the kids really want to talk about, that can exemplify that. If we're talking about charity or goodwill, maybe there was something in the news, something heroic or nice that somebody did to someone else. So here's the time to take the theory, right, or the lessons of the gospel, and put them in practice, right? Put them in perspective of our own lives, and then say, so what? What can I do with this lesson, in my day to day life, right? In my family life? That is not the time to be pointing fingers at others. Like, I can say to my husband, see, Jesus wants everybody to forgive everybody. So that's not the time to be pointing fingers. This is a nice conversation. It's an open and friendly conversation, right? To say, how can we apply this? So that we really can take in that knowledge, right, and that consolation, and really it's going to be much more than a theoretical kind of lesson, right? So again, also this should not take too long, right? But this will depend. That's why we say maximum 30 minutes. Is sometimes it's between 15 to 30 minutes. But if you have a big family and people like to talk a lot, then that's where you need to manage the time a little bit. But that is a very important part too. Then you can have another song, if you would like to. Either somebody in the family that has the talent can play it, or you can play, even instrumental music, classical music, you can also, do that, just to kind of, setting the mood and the stage for the next step, that is the closing prayer. So somebody else can actually do the closing prayer, thanking God for the lessons that you learn. At this point, you can also vibrate, or you can also pray with the intention of other family members, people that you know. So you can pray for your family and, for others a little bit during that time too. Then is the time of the distribution of the water. I think, most kids, they love this part. They want to be the one distributing. So just make sure, you have a system that's going to be okay, depending on how big, how old, they are, that they're not going to spill everything. But that is also a task, so then they can you can finish, taking that water, and that's it. That's your gospel at home. So you can see that you have prayers, preparation, and music and message. Then you have the reading of the gospel, some comments, the conversation, and then you have music and closing prayer, and you drink the fluid, the magnetized water, right? So the duration about 30 minutes. It doesn't need to be exact, and it will depend also on the size of your family, right? So who can participate? I hope everybody gets that answer correct. Anyone, right? So we want everybody to participate in the family. We just try to avoid that being, a fight, right? If you are in a couple where one is from one religion, the other one is from another religion, but you cannot reconcile, then that's fine, right? Because another question that we usually get is like, oh, I live by myself. Can I still do it? Can I still do the gospel at home? Yes, no problem. Because we are never really alone. We just ask that you still do it aloud, allow, so that, the we are never alone, right? So the other spirits, they are there, also can hear that. um Another, sometimes situation is that maybe you have other people in the house living with you, but they would not want to join you. No problem, you do it by yourself, right? By yourself, because we're never alone, right? um so really, this, I hope you can get encouraged to set this practice in your house, in your family. you know um, you could see step by step how simple it is. The steps are just kind of, they have like a reason, or like a function in the whole thing, but it's not supposed to be very um, procedural or very strict, right? It's the time with you in around your family time around the gospel of Jesus, right? To have a conversation about important things that, are important for our souls, for our spiritual health, our mental health, and of course for our physical health. And we're trying to create this culture of peace, and the world peace really begins at the home, right? So the peace of the world begins under the roof of our homes. If we don't learn to live in peace between four walls, how can we expect the harmony of nations, right? And this is still also from this Jesus at Home book. So this is my last slide, and I really hope that, you stay with this, invitation. Remember, I started asking, with all these tribulations we have today, if Jesus really called me and asked, Anna, do you want to come, and have some time with me, so that we can talk about um, God and his kingdom, and how to live a better life, how to live to your full potential as involving spirit, how to have better spiritual health, and in turn also having better physical health and mental health. um, would I accept that invitation? So I finish also with this thought and this image that Jesus is waiting for you on the other side of your door. Open it and be happier. So, the invitation from the master is always there. It's up to us if we accept that invitation or not. But I hope we all do that, and then we can see these benefits that I talked today and others, on our own, and then we can say, yes, I can feel that, it's better. It takes discipline. It takes some time to get used to the new time, to the new thing, but you just have to keep at it. Maybe there will be one day you have no electricity. Maybe there'll be one day people are knocking at your door. Invite them to participate too with you. You just have to find the discipline. And like anything, right? Don't they say after 21 days is a habit? It takes some time to develop a habit. But if you stay with it, then you will get. And then finally, we would not need like an alarm to tell you it's time to do the gospel at home, because you already know it's part of your routine. It's something you enjoy, it's something that brings you benefits, and it's something you already incorporated into your routine. um so I think that that's it.
Hey, Aninha.
Hello.
How I was here, imagine questions. What can I ask you? A lot of questions, but you answered me before, like the one, Oh, I live alone. So what's the family time? You
Right.
already answered. Good one.
Right.
And there's two questions here I'm gonna put, and we can comment. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Our sister Marcel asked. Oh no, it's not this one. She asked here. Can I help my loved ones even though I do my gospel at home? Will they benefit from my prayers?
Of course, that is a great question. So that is the thing. You don't need to fight with them. They don't need to be at the table with you or in the house. But, doing that practice, that spiritual cleaning, the deep cleaning that I talked about is going to happen if it's with one person or two or 10 or 20, right? So they will feel also the benefits from that, right? It's better if they participate, but if they don't, it's you still can help them. You can still, be constructing that peace inside of your home, because you're doing yourself. At least somebody's getting better there too, right? But yes, that is a great question.
So even though they are far away,
Yeah.
they can be benefit from, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes,
So
totally.
the next question is a continuation, because what you really mean when you say many people are benefit from the gospel at home? So
Right.
what it like? Just me and my family here in this room, in this house, or the one that I'm thinking that live far away in trouble? Who really are benefit from the gospel at home?
Yeah, so everybody, it's almost, it's like a light. Right in the center is the light, and it's inside the bulb, but the light is reflects outside too. So, you know if I do in my house, I benefit that. And in my house's benefit, it expands to my neighborhood, right? It expands to my neighbors too, to everybody. And then if you have more and more of these little points of light, then you lighten up the whole city, right? And then if you have few cities, then you light up the whole state, and you keep going in that. So it helps everybody because of some of those things. It helps the spirits, they are suffering in your house. So if they get better, they'll move on, and they would not be influencing negatively, the other people in your house too, that maybe they might be, because the spirits, once, that's why we need also to have some discipline, because then there will be mentors and good spirits, is familiar spirits or friendly spirits, right, that will come and participate with you too there. So there will be others that will be assisted by that too. So, I don't see them, but we have reports that that's what's happening. So it is this, with prayer and with goodwill, there is this multiplying and this expanding kind of, effect that goes beyond the person praying or the person, studying the gospel, and it goes, everywhere around them, and beyond.
Wow. Actually, I think we have enough for today, but we have still a lot of things to talk about. How important is this,
Mhm.
especially nowadays that we have problems everywhere.
We do.
But I know the gospel at home is not gonna fix all the problems to everybody, but it's
No.
gonna help us to get the calm
Mhm.
necessary to face the problems,
Right.
to wait, to be patient, and not aggravate the problems,
Right.
right?
Right. And to face those problems as a family too, right? To remember we are not alone, and it's a similar thing, but in a familiar environment, as the Tuesday is for us, right? We are here to nurture our souls with each other, right? Asking questions, answering questions, making comments. Some of them, some of us watching live, some of us, the next day or the other week, but we are all connected, right? Because that is important, because we need that reset button for the week that says, yes, you listen to a lot of sad things in the news. Maybe some people were not very kind with you. It looks like everything is going bad, but no, this is what Jesus tells us. This is the strength, the hope, and the consolation that He brings to us. Understanding what we're going through and knowing that we are not alone. So it's really important to cultivate this as a family too. Here we are, our spiritual family, but we also have our family, and it's important to cultivate those moments with them too.
And thank you
No problem.
very very
I have
much.
a question for you. What is your favorite moment from any gospel at home?
I like the all of them, but I like to sing.
Mm,
For instance, like when you mentioned that when you have kids, I remember I my kids was like 1 month
mhm,
year old, not month year, but 1 month old, and
uh-huh,
we do the gospel at home. So
mhm,
they start growing, and I said, "Oh my God, it's very hard to talk about gospel at home for a kid that's
right,
just starting."
right,
So we adapt our gospel
mhm,
using like the book you mentioned,
uh-huh,
right? And
mhm,
another one with the songs. Actually, I compose a song for the kids. So make it easy because the
right,
song, the vibration, like
right,
I say in the beginning,
mhm,
some songs really calm our down, right? And like I'm stressed all day. When you heard that song, I say, it's a time, right?
right,
So
right,
the song really helps.
mhm,
I know you mentioned, oh, if you have a person that sing, maybe
mhm,
we don't have, but maybe we can, like even the YouTube, you can find
right, right,
beautiful songs and
right,
put there
right.
because you start vibrating the same, like the same level, so everybody calms down.
Yeah, and it helps with the kids too, with their concentration.
Yeah.
I had a friend, she would do the gospel at home sitting around the floor. She said the kids would, they behaved better, they felt better when it was on the floor than at the table. So that's the way to do for her family. We have to adapt.
Yeah.
It's however your family, and each family is a little bit different. As long as, you do it and you keep at it, it's not like a very strict protocol.
Okay. Rana, really thank you. God bless you for bring this message from the consoler. Spiritism is a consoler. So
Right,
helping us to get strength to keep going.
right,
Don't give up.
right.
Right?
That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sweetheart. So now we're gonna continue. Uh, as we mentioned, as Anna mentioned too, we have a book that we can there's a group that we pray for. If you want to if you have someone that need vibration, good vibration, magnetization, so you can put your name in the link that we're gonna post, so make it easier. Any person can live together with you in another neighbor, in another city, another country. Doesn't matter. There's no distance because it's a vibration. Okay. So we're gonna continue now our meeting. So this part is the spiritual care, the spiritual treatment. What is this spiritual care? Spiritual care is steps that we have the pass. Pass is a transfusion of spiritual energy assisting our physical, emotional, and mental balance. The best benefit from the spiritual treatment, please follow the guided audio instruction or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with the mentalization. And now it's the time that we mentioned in the beginning. Anna mentioned too, that time that we prepare our water for the magnetization. So the magnetized water, the spirits together with our 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 wish, we can put the best energy in that water. Who can drink that water? Everybody, the kids, your neighbor, whatever the person come along with you can drink the same water, because we pray for the good spirits to put there the remedies, the things that we really need for our body and soul. So that's the time. And now we're gonna do the prayer to start the second part, and also gonna be the final prayer. So I invite all of you in this moment, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and think about Jesus Christ like a sun in front of us, irradiating lights, helping us to minimize our difficulties. My Lord, thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight. Thank you for the possibility to hear, to see, to participate of this meeting. Your peace, your love be with us today and forever. So be it. Just 1 second.
Let's get ready for the pass and water fluidification. Please get a container with clean water to be fluidified. Brothers and sisters, it does not matter where you are, what type of hardships you are going through. Jesus is always ready to come and help us. Place yourself in a comfortable position, which can make it easy for you to reach concentration and receptiveness. Breathe slowly and easily. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Fill up your lungs with air and let it out very slowly. Let tranquility and peace energies penetrate your lungs and move throughout your body. Your soul in harmony with your body feels easy and in peace. Let's imagine Jesus' passage. A clear day, the sun's golden rays illuminate the happy passage in Capernaum. A lot of white houses, multicolored vines, and hopping birds fill the landscape with optimism. The news about cures attracted the crowd in need. Suddenly, Jesus appears slim and handsome. His tunic was hanging down to his feet. At sunset, all those with sick people hit by several illnesses would bring them, and as he placed his hands over each one, he would heal them. This is what Luke the evangelist says. Let's imagine Jesus approaching you. He holds his friendly hands over our head. Notice that from his generous hands, a waterfall with clear and pure water originated from his love come to bathe you. It flows on your head, goes down your shoulders, bathe all your being, and brings you peace, serenity, and balance. They remove all impurities and pacify you. Feel the water bathing you, cleaning. Breathe. Now, imagine Jesus as a sun before you. His light, his warmth surrounds you. Feel the healing energy that comes from Jesus towards you. He hears your prayers. Trust him. His love is endless and it follows you and protects you. It provides you with everything you need. Have faith. Absorb the healing energy from Jesus. His light surrounds you. Feel the energy going through all your body. Feel stronger and in peace. Lord Jesus, our divine friend, reach out your generous hands, Lord, and change this water into medicine for our physical and spiritual illnesses. Protect us, Jesus, with your peace. Spread those vibrations of love throughout my home, Lord. May peace, health, and tranquility reign here. We are very grateful to you, Jesus. Stay with us today and forever. Thank God. Please remember to use the fluidified water.
So we'd like to say, before we finish, that you can follow us through Spiritism Canada in Facebook, YouTube, and also in the Path of Light in Instagram. So thank you very much to join us tonight, and may the peace of God be with you during the week, and start thinking, can I start the gospel at home? And if you need help, you can contact us. We're going to be very happy to help you. Have a wonderful week. God bless you today and forever. Take care.
disseminate wherever you are. Glowing seeds of love as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father, 'cause nobody's alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are. Glowing seeds of love as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.